Coach Jones has done a great job down there at Old Dominion. I thought last year, in his first year, just setting a tone for how he wanted to play, particularly on the defensive end. And then they've done a really nice job recruiting. So they got most of their guys back from last year. They've added some key pieces. Obviously with Trey Freeman back or eligible. Last year he was sitting out, and he's one of the best guards that we'll play against all year. Terrific player, averaging 20 points a game. He gives them a new dynamic that they did not have before. But they've got a lot of good pieces around him. They've got good depth on their team, both on the perimeter and inside. So it'll be a good challenge for us. It's been a couple years since we went down there. As you mentioned, it's a great rivalry between VCU and ODU. It's been back and forth over the years, going back to 1968. Talked a little bit as a team yesterday about the history of this rivalry and what it means to the folks at VCU and what it means to the folks at ODU. So just trying to familiarize our young guys with what that is.
This will be our first road game, legitimate road game, at new site. Prepared the guys kind of fired up for that challenge, and bring some of the new guys, teaching them about what's going to happen on the road.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about it and you can show it, but certainly it's not. You don't get the full experience till you go through it. So I think for our freshmen that haven't played in a college road game, this will certainly be a new experience. Our older guys, have been in some tough venues before. And I've let them know that the Constant Center is certainly going to be a lively place, as that game tips off, and there's a lot of folks down there that don't particularly like us. So we've got to be ready to go in there and be sharp and be focused.
Past few games, top competition played at the Barclays Center. What were some positives? What are some things we need to work on and playing some top competitions?
Well, I just got to keep getting better on the defensive end first and foremost. I think we made some strides with that in the Oregon game. I think we did a good job on Joe Young, who's a high-level guard for Oregon. But we got to keep getting better there. There's all kinds of defensive details that, as a coaching staff, we know we need to improve on. The key is getting the players to have the same sense of urgency that we have every second of every day about getting better in those areas. Players tend to play the game or the practice and then kind of go on with their day, but we're focused on these things 24 hours a day, and I think our older guys are learning that for us to be a great defensive team, it's got to be a huge point of emphasis for us, all the details.
Play the game at the Barclays Center. Any talk of all of, this is where we want to be on Sunday in March, and kind of get you guys acclimated and feeling of what that could be like?
No, our guys know that. I mean, our guys, we've played, I think it's 9 games there now in the last couple of years. So, our guys know. We've played in the conference championship game the last 2 years there. They understand that's where we want to be, but that's a long way away. We just played our 5th game, so we're focused on Old Dominion. We're focused on our non-conference schedule right now, and just trying to get better.
You've done an excellent job building this program. A lot of national notoriety. You've been to a Final Four. ODU is still very much in that place where they were when they were in the CAA, and you guys were somewhat anonymous rivals to the rest of the country. Does this rivalry feel any different because the programs are in different places now?
Well, I think the biggest change has been just that we're not in the same league anymore. That's been the biggest adjustment to the rivalry. And then on the flip side, now that Richmond and ourselves are in the same league, that rivalry's certainly heated up, and we play more often. So, but I think with any rivalry, the most important thing is when both teams are good, when both teams are competitive, when both teams have good players, then the rivalry tends to be better and the games tend to be better. And There's no other way to say it other than, with the job that Coach Jones has done there, ODU's team is back. I mean, they're a team to contend with. They did a nice job last year in Conference USA. They're significantly better this year than they were last year. They've added their best player in Trey Freeman. So I think the rivalry will certainly heat up again. But we're just going to play things one game at a time. On Saturday, we go down there and, like I said, there's probably a lot of people down there that don't particularly like us. But, fortunately the game's played 5-on-5, and, we'll put our best foot forward.
Is a sellout kind of evidence that's back and forth, for both of y'all? I know you saw it here, but down there they've had.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with what the crowds are that they've had. I know they've got a great following, and I know that there's a lot of people down there that are fired up about basketball.
I know as a head coach, you really look into the minutia of, you didn't show on this screen or you didn't show enough, as opposed to, well, we won this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to know if you were proud of your team getting blown out by Villanova and coming back against Oregon and having a strong performance.
Well, I thought we responded well. It was certainly a humbling experience the night before, but that's not always a bad thing. It's tough to go through in the moment, but I think early in the year, or really at any point in the year, it's something that makes you look in the mirror and makes you realize you have to get better. I remember last year, UConn lost in their conference tournament by like 30-some points to Louisville, and everyone was being extremely critical of UConn and writing them off, and obviously they grew from that moment in that game and they won the national championship. So and that was in March. So certainly this early in the year, when something doesn't go your way, you need to look at it as an opportunity to grow. We got to get way better in a lot of different areas. That would be the case even if we had won both games in New York. But hopefully there's more urgency to do that. Like I said, I thought our guys responded really well on the defensive end in the Oregon game against a talented team, and now we just got to keep growing.
We play ODU today, play UVA next week. We played Virginia Tech the last couple of years. Is that important for basketball in this area, for top colleges to be playing each other and kind of continuing the rivalries amongst each other?
I think the fans really like it around here. I mean, there happens to be a rich tradition of basketball in the state in terms of college basketball, and there's a lot of different programs. It's not like the state has necessarily been dominated by one program. Certainly UVA had it going for a long time with Ralph Sampson and those guys, but Virginia Tech's been good. ODU has been very, very good over the years. George Mason, Richmond, ourselves. So there's a lot of different programs that have had success, and I think when they play against one another, it certainly adds a level of interest for the fans of basketball in the state. And I'm glad that we do get to play ODU. I'm glad that we do get to play a lot of the teams in the state.
But you guys really enjoyed saying that they were state champs last year.
No, I don't think our guys really enjoyed saying that we were state champs. I mean, there is no state championship in college. We did play all those teams, and we play to win. So that's the part that our guys take pride in, is if we're able to win games against really good teams, and just like anyone else, our guys are going to take pride in it.
Scotty, I don't know if it's okay if I ask about this, but the difficulty getting out of Brooklyn, can I ask about that? Yeah. He said it took 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get from Brooklyn to Teterboro, with all of the protests that were going on after Ferguson. I just wanted to know what your experience was sitting on the bus for 2.5 hours trying to get back to the airport, so you can get back here and actually have Thanksgiving with your family.
Same experience as it always is leaving Brooklyn. I mean, it took a little bit longer, but there's always a lot of traffic there, and I think it actually took long. It was longer than that. It was a long time, but I mean, we're on the bus. We're a lot of the guys were sleeping, and It was fine. I mean, it's a whole lot easier to have feel good about stuff like that when you're coming off of a win. So it really didn't bother me too much.
Coach, how's your Thanksgiving, and how'd you spend it, team, or did you guys get into anything yesterday?
Yeah, we practiced and had a good practice with our guys, and then we actually went over to an event at the convention center where there was all kinds of people, having a Thanksgiving meal. So we went over and spent some time with some folks there. And then guys came over to my house, and we had some food at my house. I didn't cook, so the food was good. And then the guys just got off their feet and got some rest.